Millions across the country are waiting to find out if their student loans will be forgiven after the president's plan was stalled earlier this month by an appeals court. But the application process is still open, and many borrowers who are looking for relief are now becoming targets for scam artists looking to cash in. Steve Patterson has more on the warning signs you should look out for.
Samantha Morgan has been steadily paying off her student loan debt for years. She currently owes $27,000. But under the president's plan, most of that will be relieved.
It was like spinning a jackpot wheel and seeing $20,000 come up across the board.
And that excitement is what scammers are preying on.
If you do not verify your income on January 1st, your payments will start back up automatically.
Samantha recently received this voicemail pressuring to submit personal information. Luckily, she knew not to engage.
They're going after the little guy, the person who's already buried in debt. That makes me mad.
President Biden unveiled his $400 billion student loan forgiveness plan back in August. Some borrowers can qualify for up to $10,000 in debt relief or $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients, depending on your income. But the plan has seen a sluggish rollout, creating a perfect storm for scammers.
Since there's that gap and people need the relief right away, the scammers have really taken over the ad results in the internet searches.
Kevin Roundy has been studying the scams, including false ads online.
If you look at the results here, you see some pretty official looking sites as the top option. Now, if you go on this site, it's still going to look like a very slick, official looking site. Wow. But it's not a government site.
He advises borrowers should never give out their personal information, like an FSA login, credit card number, or even a birth date. And official government applications are free to fill out.
The fact that they had access to my account or were looking at my actual numbers, it gave me a sense of trust in what they were doing.
Aaron Hines says he was moments away from making a payment over the phone to a scammer, promising to forgive close to $12,000 of his student loans.
I was absolutely terrified when I called my wife and we figured out that I had gotten scammed.
Luckily, that call to his wife saved him. Though the scammers managed to access his FSA account and change the password, he hasn't noticed any fraudulent activity since.
I always touted that you can't scam me, but this one got pretty close.
For now, experts say the only place safe is the official studentaid.gov website, where applications are now live. Still ahead at noon, need a last-minute meal to serve to your ghosts and goblins? We have a Halloween recipe that's simple and frighteningly delicious.